That was Fire Away with Chris Stapleton. Everyone likes that guy. I know Cindy Cochran does the Cindy Cochran Show. She loves Chris Stapleton. 902, you're probably wondering where I've been, folks, this morning. I've been working hard on updating the website and getting things transitioned over to FM coming soon. So my morning show is kind of off and on, but we will be doing Meet the Candidates every morning at 9 a.m. with Nathan Arizona, who's sitting next to me right now.
Good morning, Conroe in Montgomery County.
Good morning, Nathan. How you doing?
Pretty deadgum good.
Have you voted yet, Nathan?
I'm not. I'm saving it for Saturday.
What is that? That's such a weird way to say it. I'm saving it.
I'm saving it for Saturday because A, I'll be in the parade Saturday.
Okay. So
B, I'll be downtown, and I'm going to be promoting people to come and vote. You're already downtown. Have you voted yet? Come vote. Let me show you where. And I'm going to.
We should get a cattle prod. What we should do and just collect the people from the from the parade and just start
already got one.
Getting them in there.
I got it from Jill Driscoll. But anyway,
I think in honor of Go Texan Day, a cattle prod would be appropriate.
I think appropriate. I really do. I think that would be really funny.
Yep, and my wife wanted to vote together, so that's why Saturday we're doing it.
Mm-hmm. That's really weird. No, I'm just kidding. That's so sweet. So sweet. Today is Meet the Candidates, folks, from 9 to 10 a.m. leading up to March 1st. We're going to be weekdays. We're having a special segment dedicated to local politics and especially getting you off your butt to go vote. mctx.org/election. That's mctx.org/election for polling times and locations. And bring your ID. I think that's the biggest difference that's happened in the past couple of years. You got to bring a form of ID.
Thank God.
Oh, yeah. We know how Nathan feels about that.
Absolutely.
Well, you should talk to Cindy. She forgot her ID. Cindy Cochran is one of the craziest women I've ever, or not women, person ever. And she always has a story. You should hear her story about when she forgot her ID and her trying to convince the person to let her vote. They wouldn't let her. Oh, it's great. And she's a grandma. She forgot it. You know, she's handling the kids and all this kind of stuff. The fell out of her wallet in her car of another car, so the car wasn't there. And it's a sad story. At the end of the story, she didn't vote. Because she just...
Oh, no.
Yeah. I told her to mail it in next time. That's Definitely. What she needs to be doing. But today we have a special guest. Jennifer Robin is running for judge of the 410th District Court. And I'm online on our website right now, and you can be too. Judge Jennifer Robin, judgejenniferrobin.com. And she's also on Facebook. If you have questions for Jennifer right now, I guess she is the judge. She's a judge right now.
I'm
so
associate judge now, the 418th District Court.
There you go. See, I need to get this lingo going. But Nathan is online right now on Montgomery County Lifestyle on that Facebook, and he's taking questions through that. So if you do have a question, that's the portal to take. It's 9:05, so we're going to be talking to Jennifer right now. Jennifer has been in the studio a couple times, and right now we're going to focus on her and who she is, and then we'll get more into what the 410th District Court does, and especially her experience. She's clearly experienced because she's a judge currently right now. So if you don't mind, let's start with the simple questions like who you are, and you also have you have someone with
my
you.
Court reporter
I can't believe I'm
peering
so rude.
Through the window at me, and so we invited her in, and I'm glad she's here.
It's almost a rule here at Lone Star is whoever's peering through the window, you get an open invitation. Like if you want to know what's going on, come and sit down. We get some strange people in here. Not saying you're strange.
No, I'm a hover friend.
Oh, you're supporting.
Yeah.
You're supporting. It's a great time to say you're supporting people because we got Nathan here with a Phil Grant T-shirt on. You know what? I need to get T-shirts from everybody.
There you go.
That's what I need because I like T-shirts. You know, like
Put
painted and stuff like that.
I got you a T-shirt.
Thank you. See.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
So there you go. And I could probably just put it all over these. Not on the Texas flag. I like that. I painted that. I'm not going to do it.
In the window for a while, just
Yeah, we got some gaps to fill. But no, let's focus on Jennifer right now. Judge Jennifer Robin. Jennifer, you don't mind, let me know, tell me who you are, your background before you became a judge, if you don't mind.
Yes, I'd love to.
Go for it.
Well, I grew up here in Montgomery County. I moved here when I was 2 years old and went to all the schools here, graduated from Conroe High School, and went off to college and law school and came back to start my career. And I've been in private practice. I was in private practice for 10 years. I did primarily family law, did some civil litigation as well. Got board certified in family law in 2007. And in 2010-ish, Judge Gilbert approached me to be his associate judge of the 418th District Court. And I accepted and was sworn in on January 1st of 2011 and have been there ever since.
Man, that was fast. That was a whole lifetime I just experienced.
One thing she forgot to tell you, she was recently a special guest host at the Conroe High School Golden Girls Pancake Supper because She was an officer in the Golden Girls in high school.
I was major.
She was major. Oh,
there might have been a reason why she didn't.
It was
bring
a
that
major
up,
officer. She was major.
So
No,
there might have been a reason.
No, because she's very humble.
Are
and
there any
gracious.
good photos on the internet about this? Let's see.
Yes, she was
Wore
able
my
to
gold
wear
bra.
her senior high school
practice
uniform.
Yeah.
And the girls, the Golden Girls thought it was awesome. The moms thought it was awesome. She gave words of encouragement to the moms and the girls. She was a special guest host. That was a cool night. But she's too gracious.
I want to
bring
tie
it
that
up.
into this question right here. You went to law school and you came back. Was that a plan all along to go somewhere and come back and bring your smarts with you?
Honestly, no. I grew up here, and I thought, I'm going to go set the world on fire. I actually had a job lined up in Austin, Texas, and here I was, an unmarried woman about to start her career in law, and I thought, wow, that's a place to be. This is going to be fun. I had a job lined up, and my dad is a lawyer here in Montgomery County, and I was on the phone with him one day, and my gut was just telling me, it's time to go back home. And I couldn't deny that. I knew what I was feeling inside, and so I turned down the offer I had, and I came home and started working with my dad at his office, which is just down the street, Grady James.
I feel like that kind of story happens to a lot of people in Montgomery County. I really do.
You don't... I think when you go away, it's when you realize how much you love it. And so coming back after being away at school, I'd come back in the summers and work. I'd, lifeguard at River Plantation when I was in college, and just, whatever during the summers to between school semesters. But during the year, I'd be gone at school. And so when I'd come back, it was just brief little moments. So when it was time to really make that final decision, my gut was just telling me what I needed to do. And I was really surprised by it, because I thought, in my mind, I'd been interviewing. I had this job lined up. I was good to go. I was going to set Austin on fire. And that's just, I followed what my gut was telling me, and it was the best thing I could have done.
And now you're running for judge.
Yes, sir.
And tell me, if you don't mind, connect the dots for me when you became your private firm, and then you became a judge of the 418th.
418th.
So how did that connect? How did that happen?
Well, really, it's kind of funny. I met Judge Gilbert initially. We both were sitting down taking the board certification test at the same time, and ironically,
you mean like you're in a room?
We're in this the
it's like,
Irwin,
here's your number
we're in
2
the
pencil.
Irwin Center, the giant Irwin Center in Austin.
Okay.
I could have sat anywhere in the whole room, and I actually planned. Really, because I wanted to be close to the bathroom in case I had to run real quick.
I do that same thing in the theaters.
Yeah, I was very strategic about this. So I sit down, and I had been studying for days, just bloodshot eyes, wrapped up in a sweatshirt. I'm ready to take this 6-hour exam, and I sit down and I get my pencil out and all that, and I look up, and Tracy Gilbert's sitting across from me. But let me just tell you, we weren't friends at that time, and in fact, I had
frenemies.
No, I just had not really met him before, and I represented his partner's ex-wife. And
do people really carry that kind of grudge?
They could.
I imagine. I guess they could.
I didn't know what was going to happen. Ooh. So, but at the same time, I knew, okay, this person is in the same community as me. We're sitting across from each other. I have to at least say something. So, I introduced myself, and he was really good about it, and was really, he was very nice. And after that, because we both ended up getting board certified our first times in 2007, and that was just a camaraderie. I mean, it's a big experience to go through that process. And so, and both of us getting it, we both, when we got added to the list for Montgomery County, we were numbers 11 and 12 of all the people board certified in family law at that time. So it was a big deal. And and then I started doing some mediations for him, and we just, developed a professional friendship, but also I think we had a mutual respect. I knew he was very, very intelligent, and I think he thought the same of me and liked my temperament as a mediator and thought that I would be really good as a judge.
Now, with this board certification, family law, that's something that the state puts together as a qualification, or is that more of a federal level? Like, what level is the...
It's state law.
State law.
Yes.
So they come up with this curriculum saying, you want to get certified?
I wish it was a curriculum. Here's what they do. You have to...
I just want to say, listeners, listen to this, because I think this is a big deal that certain candidates in certain races play it down, and I think that's rude, because there's only 10% of the lawyers in the state of Texas that have some form of certification. It's not an elective process. It's a big deal. Go for it, girl.
Before we get there, sorry, I want to understand the decision to do this. and more of why does the state create this?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the decision. So, and I think that I want the voters to know this.
Yeah.
I think it's indicative not only of my expertise, but also going the extra mile in your career, because it was not an easy process. The application process alone was almost as difficult as the test, and the test was the most difficult test, way more difficult than the bar exam. It was very, very difficult. And so when I said no curriculum, here's the deal: there are no study materials, and you have no idea what's going to be on there. You have certain sections. There's essays. There's some. There's going to be a couple of different topics, but basically you have to know, in family law especially, because there's so many crossover topics, you got to know some tax, you got to know some bankruptcy, you've got to know contracts, torts, property law, all these different things. Plus the family code is huge, and it's very detailed. And so that alone, and plus any legislative changes, any case law updates, you've got to be able to cite those by name. And so it was just very, and there are no materials to study from. You've got to do it yourself. So basically you're outlining the family code. You're reading case law from that year. It's crazy.
You're creating your own curriculum.
You're creating your own curriculum, and you hope to God it works. And so I think it's really important to know that it's that extra level of expertise, and the State Bar of Texas says that the only people that can call or hold themselves out as specialists in a field are people who are board certified in that field. Anybody that says they're a specialist and does not have a board certification is not allowed to do so by the State Bar of Texas. So it's a really big deal. So getting there, as far as why I did it, it was a goal from day one. In fact, when I started at my dad's office, and he had a lot of he had goals for me. And so the very first day, I'll never forget it. He said, "Jennifer, I want you to be a 10-year lawyer in 5 years. You're going to go to, court every day. You're going to be, I'm going to put your feet to the fire, and you're going to do this, and you're going to be a 10-year lawyer in 5 years. And, and we're going to start working now to get you board certified and, get that trial experience." And so, and he was serious about it, and I was too. And so I got it actually, I did it in 6 years. You have to at least be practicing 5, because it's based on a 5-year period. You have to have so many jury trials, so many bench trials, so many settled cases by mediation, so many appeals, all of this, but it has to be within a 5-year time frame. So it's not throughout your whole entire career that you have to meet these objectives. You have to have this number, and it's a pretty strong number. Let me just put it that way for each of those categories. You have to really be focusing in that field and be in the courthouse and working day in and day out in getting your trial experience in order to even qualify for this exam.
Don't you also have to have, don't they also reach out to your peers? Don't other attorneys?
That too. Yeah.
Explain that.
They have, they'll send out, you can name some people that you are asking for them to reach out to. And they do. They'll send out a form, and those people will rate you. So it's like 10 people. So, I would send it to judges I'd practiced in front of and to other peers that I thought were very credible people.
Cool.
Yeah.
I want to connect that when we come back after this music break with Judge Jennifer Robin with this specialized, and I guess your certification. How does that apply with the 410th? We're going to learn more about that if we don't mind when we come back. You're listening to Mornings with Lone Star here on Lone Star Community Radio, ourlonestar.com. You got a question for the judge? All you got to do is Montgomery County Lifestyle with Nathan Arizani. He's on his computer. You can hear him typing all the time, and we're taking questions. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back here on Meet the Candidates on Mornings with Lone Star. Rayo de Monterey right there. That's Pauline Reese. You're listening to Mornings with Lone Star, Meet the Candidates. We're back from our music break here on Lone Star in the mornings, 9:23. We're sitting here with Judge Jennifer Robin, who's running for the 410th District Court for early voting right now and also March 1st voting. Sitting with me is my co-host, Nathan Arizani, and we're back. Just want to remind people, if you're just now tuning in and you're missing parts of the interview, you can go online later on our SoundCloud and YouTube page, also ourlonestar.com, for the podcast version of this interview.
Can we give a shout out to that local police officer that comes downtown that does community policing that you know so well?
Officer Taylor?
Yeah, there's a strange character in purple sitting outside looking in the window.
I think it's a lumberjack.
Yeah, that's what he's for. Our guys know where we can call him.
That looks like Brian Dawson, but I hope it's not, because I'm sure there's some outstanding warrants out there on that guy. Yeah, Chief Dupuis, do not send your crew down here.
But we're sitting. Okay, we need to focus on what we're doing here, Nathan. We're sitting with Judge Jennifer Robin, and we kind of teased a little bit. We learned about her history and especially her accreditations and accomplishments leading into why she wants to run for this position. And what I wanted to connect with is she went through this strenuous experience to become certified in family law. How this applies to the 410th District Court. So if you don't mind, connect the dots for me.
I'd love to. And I think that's what's really helpful for me in this race is that the breakdown, and actually in the Courier article today, they endorsed me. It's in the, by the way, it's my birthday, and that was the best birthday present ever. Yeah, today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Well, thank you. But that was the best birthday presents I had. I mean, look, nobody can top that. That was awesome. So anyway, they endorsed me today, and they actually mentioned a breakdown of the caseload. But what they're talking about is the intake part. And what's different is you can also look at the number of pending cases in each type of category in that court. So that court currently hears criminal, it hears family, and it hears general civil. And right now, the pending cases that are just sitting there waiting to be heard in the 410, there's about 43% family law cases. And then there's about 30, I think it was about 35% was general civil, and then the rest was the felony cases that are pending. So it's a small section of criminal, but the largest part of that court right now actually are the family law cases that are pending. So I think I bring that to the table, which is really helpful. But and also my background, I was in private practice for 10 years, so I did some general civil as well. But so, yeah, that's the breakdown. And the intake numbers are a little different that you'll see in the Courier. But if you actually go run the numbers at the district clerk's office, the pending cases are very heavily in the family law cases.
And one thing people don't think about, and this is Jill Driscoll, one thing people don't often think about is the fact, I'm Judge Jennifer Robin's court reporter.
Not biased at all.
Her first best judgment was to make me her court reporter. I was her first decision that she made, and it was one of the best. But what I was going to say is one thing that people aren't aware of is how much criminal crossovers also in family law. Judge Robin is prepared to hear any type of case, whatever the county needs done. She's more than ready. She sentences people to jail.
That's nice.
I think she issued a capias for arrest just last week. So I want people to know family law is probably the most well-rounded of any of the areas of law in which to be specialized.
I promise I did not ask her to come this morning, and nor did I pay her to say all that.
I told you I'm a hover friend.
Well, that's fine by me. But no, what's important too, as I learn these positions in as a judge, is the involvement with the community. And when I say that, I meant more of your rulings and your judgments, because you see cases here in Montgomery County. That's what the district court does. And the way you rule really affects long-term what's going on in this county, especially affecting the families and the people involved with the cases on the bad side or the good side. And with that, what she said is really important to realize when you're voting for somebody, you need somebody with that in mind.
Absolutely. There's a lot of gravity with this position, and I know that because I've spent those nights laying in my bed thinking about these kids that I'm about to make a decision for, and how it's going to impact them, how it's going to impact the whole family, their future, all of those things. And it's a heavy burden, but it's one I love, I guess, to have on my shoulders. It's something that I enjoy.
The responsibility and accountability is huge.
It is.
For this position.
It is. It's hard. It's hard decisions, but it's not something I dislike. It's something that I enjoy doing.
It's funny you just went to that. A question just popped up.
Okay.
And it says, what is the toughest decision a family law judge has to make, and what factors go into making such a decision?
I mean, I think in family law matters, there's a lot of different things in family law matters that impact people, because even if you're just looking at the property division, that impacts people tremendously. But in my heart, it's the children, it's the families that are splitting up, or maybe they're coming back on a modification, but it's basically these custody cases. And, as far as factors, the law tells us, my bottom line is I follow the law as it's written. So I stick to the code. That's why I have a good track record. I've never been reversed on appeal in the last 5 years that I've been doing this. And I've been I've been ruling day in and day out for 5 years, and it's a pretty big deal to not have any reversals. But one of the things that I think you have to do is, first of all, just common sense. I mean, you've got to have compassion. You've got to have common sense. You have to be able to look and understand that people don't always make great decisions, but you can't. But are they turning things around? Are they trying to make things better? You know, how is that going to impact this child? And one of the things that I get to do is actually interview a lot of these children most of the time, and that's probably the most helpful information, is sitting down and talking with those kids.
I think too, listening to you and also talking about how, as a judge, it's really hard in this kind of race to let the public know what they can look at and kind of value in you as a judge. And I know you have your certifications and things like that, but a lot of people, like Nathan said, can't grasp the concept of like, oh, you have a badge. That's really cool. Yeah. But really when you say the appeals, to me that's a huge that speaks volumes as a judge, because that's really what slows down a lot of the process are the appeals, and especially in major cases, because you're like, all right, this case is really going to take about 4 years throughout the whole process.
Absolutely.
So
and it's very costly for people. So if you get these, rogue judges making just decisions however they want to and not looking at the law or not looking at precedent case law, then those are the people that are having to appeal the cases. Now, I'm not saying that there are some people that just aren't happy with the decision, and they have every right to appeal it. And so I haven't had a lot of appeals. When I say I've never been reversed, I haven't had that many people actually appeal me. And the ones that do, they have every right to do that, and that's part of our system, and they have the right to do that. My point is just that when it has gone up to the Court of Appeals, each judgment has survived judicial scrutiny. And I think that's really important, because people, when they go to court, they're already spending typically tons of money on attorneys to help them get through this very complicated and foreign process. To then get a judgment that their lawyer says, oh my gosh, this is not even according to the law, we've got to appeal this. And now you're absolutely right, they're in litigation for 4 years, and they're paying appellate costs. And it's stressful, and they don't have closure. And so you really have to have someone who's applying the law, who's giving judgments. It may not be what they want, but they can at least understand where it came from, that they're following the law. So
we're sitting here with Judge Jennifer Robin. She's running for the 410th District Court, and it's 9:32. We're going to take a quick music break. When we come back, we'll continue talking to Judge Jennifer Robin. You can ask questions right now on Montgomery County Lifestyle's Facebook page, and when we come back, we'll be talking more. All right? Nathan, you're okay? He's typing away. All right.
I got to answer that purple weirdo that's sitting outside the window.
Maybe we can get him in here.
Maybe we need to call Constable Precinct 2, man.
We'll be back here
Barney.
on Mornings of Lone Star. Doc West right there with If She Wanted To, 9:39 here on IRLoneStar.com, Lone Star Community Radio, sitting with Judge Jennifer Robin, who's running for your 410th District Court in this current voting stage. Early voting has already started, so you have plenty of time. Look it up, mctx.org/election. That's mctx.org/election. Meet the Candidates is right now all the way to 10 o'clock. Coming up next will be the Cindy Cochran Show, so stick around for that. Her special guests are the movie people, so she's going to be reviewing movies Friday. She loves talking about movies, so if you like talking about movies, I try to get her to go see Deadpool. And I don't know if y'all know what Deadpool is, but it's a rated R superhero flick, and it's really inappropriate. And she is a grandmother, and I was like, I just can't imagine her going to see that movie, but I try to get her to go see it just to see what she would say. She would hate it. But Meet the Candidates is right now all the way from 9 to 10 every weekday morning leading up to March 1st, folks. So if you're interested in anything going on political, we try to get political guests, concerned citizens and leaders in the community to come on and talk about politics and also voting and all that great stuff. If anything, you've missed anything, we're going to be podcasting it all on SoundCloud, YouTube. Just look up Lone Star Community Radio, or just go to irlonestar.com/home. You can skip the Listen Now button, and you'll take you right to all of our archives of all of our shows. So it's a pretty big deal. If you miss it and you want to hear it, don't worry, we'll be posting it. Sitting with Nathan Arizotti of Montgomery County Lifestyle. He's my co-host. And let's wrap this up with Judge Jennifer Robin, who's currently a judge of the 418th. And she's like, man, I just want to go down the street to the 410th. Is that right?
I'm the associate judge of the 418th. Okay. Yeah. Well, so I was appointed.
Okay.
And so I'll be, but going down the hall is actually quite literally, it's down the hall.
So there you go.
And running for my own bench now. So.
No, one thing we kind of covered, maybe we didn't put it more to light, is, what makes you different from these judges? Because other people are running. I think a lot of people when they vote. And I was thinking about this the other day. You know how intimidating it must be? Because I know when I go vote for the November elections, I hate it. Because there's probably about 10 people,
Sure.
10 things I'm voting for, and there's probably about 60 things on the ballot. And
Right.
I'm like, man, I got to sit here and yes,
Right.
no.
Well, and people don't tend to really pay attention to the judicial races anyway, so it's
Yeah.
hard to really get. That's why I'm so appreciative of this platform that you're giving us to reach out to everybody and let them make their decision, an informed decision. But yeah, I mean, some of the things that I think the voters need to know in this particular race, we talked about my qualifications and experience, but in comparison in this race, I am the only board certified candidate in the race. I am the only one with judicial experience, and I have this proven judicial track record. And what that should say to the voters is that if you haven't been reversed in 5 years, you're following the law as it's written, which is what we're supposed to do, and you are being conservative. And you're not legislating from the bench. And so I think that's really important for the voters to know that, and that they've got 5 years of evidence that this is what I'm doing, and that I'll continue to do that, and stand by the oath that I take as a judge.
Yeah, because I imagine, like we said, when you're trying to set yourself different from the other candidates, there's so many ways to go about it, but the most important thing is getting a voter to listen and to comprehend really what you're trying to say. Because I think a lot of times people think politics, they think of slanders, they think of mudslinging, they think of all just negative things when it comes down to the political race of things.
Right.
And it was just sad, but then what's great about this community is I think everything's been going okay in regards of y'all's professionalism and running in the race and stuff like that.
Well, one of the reasons I think is because the incumbent in this race, and this is another thing that I think the voters need to know, the incumbent in this race has decided not to seek re-election. But when I jumped in this race in August, he had not done that yet. And there were problems going on in the 410th. And everybody that practiced law in Montgomery County, they knew what was going on. All the lawyers knew. Law enforcement knew. There were problems, and it had been years. And, his term was coming up, and it didn't look like he was going to retire, and nobody else was stepping up to the plate. And because it's a scary thing to run against a 20-year incumbent. But, I had the guts to do it, and I think voters need to know that. I'm the one who stepped up, was willing to run against a 20-year incumbent to fix these problems, to put the court back to work for people in Montgomery County. And it wasn't until after he backed out in this race in late October, I think October 30th is when he sent out a letter. Then and only then did anyone else enter this race. And what I want the voters to know is that I'm willing to stand up, even when it's difficult, stand up and make those hard decisions, stand up for the people in this community, and for myself for that matter, because this county is near and dear to my heart. And so I want it to be running at maximum capacity. And I want, because I love the legal profession, I want to see that court doing what it should be doing and not wasting taxpayer money.
Well, there you go. See, look at this. Easy peasy with Judge Jennifer Robin. I do appreciate you coming in and talking. What I want to do now is, I think we've kind of covered everything, but if there's something...
I mention my endorsements,
you
real
can,
quick.
I want to give you time
Okay.
to speak now.
Well, that's the only other thing I really wanted to say is that I do have some really great endorsements. I have Sheriff Tommy Gage has endorsed me, our District Attorney Brett Ligon, Montgomery County Law Enforcement Association, which is really important to me that they are backing me and believe in me. The Constable Ryan Gable, Constable David Hill, Texas Conservative Tea Party Coalition actually just got Southwest Montgomery County Tea Party. The Courier. They're pointing to me because there's several. The Courier just endorsed me, and Family Lawyers for Good Judges PAC as well. So anyway, I have a huge amount of support, and I'm really proud of that. Oh, I'm being given a question.
If you'd like to answer it, if you have time.
Can we say who it's from? Because it's a special person.
I think you need to say who it's from.
Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah, you can go for it. I mean, this
All
is
right. No, okay, I'm getting
free radio here.
Let me
Let's
just
do
say
it.
that it's somebody in the judicial community is asking a question, and I think it's a very pertinent question, and I'm just flattered that he's even listening. So, what was the question again?
What is the proper role of a judge in any trial?
I believe that the proper role of the judge, we are told in the preamble of our canons of ethics that we are to follow the law as it's written. We are to be impartial in the pursuit of justice, I think is one of the clauses in there. I believe that in every role, whether we're making the final decision or whether a jury's making it, we are umpires in the situation. We are when people make objections, we're deciding on whether we're sustaining and objecting and what evidence comes in and out. We are not making a decision on that case until the very end when everything has been presented and the evidence is closed. And it's very important to maintain that impartiality to anyone that comes into the courtroom and that justice can be done. And I believe that the role of a judge is to apply the law as it's written. In Texas, we have our legislative branch and we have a judicial branch, and they should not overlap to the point that judges are trying to make new laws that don't exist or to change the laws. The people in this community elect people to go and represent them in our Congress, and it's not my job to go in and change those things that they rule and that they elect to do. And so my job is to take the law as it's written, apply it to the facts, and to be an impartial arbitrator of the case.
I feel like that should be added to every time before you open the doors as judge. People just need to read this. Like, here's my idea. But thank you so much for coming in, Judge Jennifer Robin.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I just want to let people know early voting has started, and you have all the way up to the 26th for early voting.
And this weekend.
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday. The polls are open. No excuses, folks. March 1st is the voting day, but you can vote right now, early voting, mctx.org/election. That's mctx.org/election. We're being closing down this Meet the Candidates segment. And again, I thank Judge Jennifer Robin coming in. She's running for a 410th District Court Judge. And if you're just now tuning in, we'll podcast this interview on our SoundCloud and YouTube, and of course, irlonestar.com. Nathan?
Couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell me who's coming in. I knew it.
I knew he was asking.
I never understood that at the end of every Meet the Candidates segment, I'm always going to ask, what's coming up next, Nathan?
And I am prepared except today. So that's why I said, couldn't tell you.
I mean, something's going on. No, I was kidding.
Maybe we'll get that purple dude, that Barney dude wandering around.
The Barney dude. But, we'll be, just, all you got to do, folks, if you want to, is coming on, is Mornings Lone Stars on Facebook, and also Montgomery County Lifestyle. Nathan always posts who's coming in. So keep an eye on that, and we'll be back on Monday. Coming up next is the Cindy Cochran Show here on Lone Star Community Radio. Stick around. Right now we're going to take a quick music break until then, so we'll see you later.
Thank you for checking out a podcast on Lone Star Internet Radio. Lone Star Internet Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, broadcasting from the heart of Conroe, Texas. If you are interested in sponsoring a program for Lone Star Internet Radio, just visit us online at irlonestar.com or message us on Facebook. We are always taking song requests on Twitter, and if you are interested in getting involved with the station by either hosting your own show or if you want to be a DJ, just contact Dick at irlonestar.com. Lone Star Internet Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station.